Good morning and welcome to the Voice of Charity. I'm Katie Bredemann, and we're so glad that you're with us today to talk about the many ways Catholic Charities continues to seek to fulfill its mission in Cook and Lake counties, assisting anyone in need. As a reminder, the Voice of Charity broadcasts on WNDZ 750 AM here in Chicago, and a live stream of that show airs on YouTube and Facebook under Catholic Chicago. Today we're talking about one of the most innovative programs Catholic Charities has ever created. In 2002, Catholic Charities received a donation of disposable cameras. Father Wayne Watts, Associated Administrator of Catholic Charities, came up with a brilliant idea, along with Ellen Gorney, another Catholic Charities administrator, to offer the cameras to guests who came to Catholic Charities for a meal on Tuesday nights. It was an invitation to the hungry and often homeless guests to try to put aside the burdens they carry for a few hours each week and spend time learning to be photographers. Father Wayne and Ellen Gorney recruited 3 other dynamic women, Noreen Russo, Jody O'Connor, and Maureen Kelly, and the After Supper Visions program was underway. 19 years later, the After Supper Visions team is thrilled to announce that there will be a virtual celebration of After Supper Visions this Friday, June 4th, acknowledging all that the artists have achieved this year despite the pandemic. Here on the show today to share more about this upcoming program are Father Wayne Watts and Noreen Russo. Father Wayne continues as Associate Administrator for Catholic Charities, and he is pastor of Saints Joseph and Francis Xavier Parish in Wilmette. Father Wayne is going to be the host of the After Supper Vision show this Friday. Noreen Russo is Catholic Charities Associate Director for Mission Engagement, and Noreen is also Director of Catholic Charities Junior Board. Under Noreen's leadership, the Junior Board has become an increasingly popular organization for young professionals in Chicago to join. Noreen is also Catholic Charities Project Manager for After Supper Visions, so she has coordinated everything for Friday's virtual program. Welcome, Father Wayne and Noreen.
Thanks so much, Katie. Happy to be with you.
Thank you so much for being with the show today. It's so exciting to have this event just a couple days away now. Father Wayne, for members of our audience who aren't as familiar with After Supper Visions, can you share about how the After Supper Visions program works?
Well, it's a wonderful program, and not to correct anything you say, Katie, but I have to give all the credit for the idea to Ellen Gorney. Ellen came up with the idea. I just connected a couple people to the deal, and here we are, 19 years later. You know, it's evolved and over the last 19 years. So currently, what we do is in September, we invite the dinner guests to join the program. We ask them if they're interested in participating in this program where we explore beauty and right around us in Chicago. We give them cameras, and starting in September with giving them cameras, and then they work with the volunteers, and the volunteers have increased in number, and I think that's just something amazing to consider. You know, we started with just a couple, 3 volunteers, professional photographers, and other experts, and then Noreen and Jody and Maureen have really recruited lots of other people to help along the way. It's a great group of people who love our guests. We give the cameras to the guests. We invite them to take pictures of what they think is beautiful. And then typically, when it's not a pandemic, we have a photo show, like an art exhibition, in the same place where 130 folks have dinner every weeknight at Catholic Charities at 721 North LaSalle. We focus on the creativity that the artists bring to the program. They learn about photography. They get to know the amazing volunteers, Noreen and Ellen and Maureen, and I could go on and on. 2 Michaels, there are great volunteers, really. And the volunteers have fun as well. They find pictures to take of anything beautiful and interesting to them, and then we have the show in June. It's really, really great.
And so, Noreen, because of the pandemic, the annual photo exhibition has not been able to be held for the last 2 years. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so that's the reason
due
for
to
the virtual
pandemic,
program.
We were ready to go, and then the pandemic hit, so we were unable to join together for that annual show. And then this year, because of the pandemic as well, we decided to have a virtual exhibit.
And so if the general public wants to support the artists, are there products they can buy, and will they be able to do that on the show this Friday?
Yes, so we have note cards, Christmas cards, magnets, coasters, and prints that the artists have taken, and you can purchase them on our website, and every artist gets 70% of every purchase from the photos they take. So we try to ensure that every artist gets some compensation each year. But because of the pandemic, the last 2 years, we were unable to have the show. So this year, it's really important that we're getting people to go to AfterSupperVisions.com and purchase photos, Christmas cards, magnets, coasters, and note cards.
Well, I know that each of these artists has quite a powerful story to tell, and so we're going to take a quick break here on the Voice of Charity, but when we come back, we'd love to hear, Father Wayne, you and Noreen share about some of the friendships that have developed over the years on After Supper Visions. Please stay tuned.
Thank you.
Catholic Charities After Supper Visions program helps guests of our Tuesday night supper program develop their skills as photographers. Unique talent has been discovered as the artists capture Chicago's world-class landmarks and natural settings in new and beautiful ways. On Friday, June 4th at 5 p.m., After Supper Visions will host a free virtual 30-minute program to celebrate all of the artists' achievements. Hear from the artists and see the striking photos that rival those of any art gallery in Chicago. Join us. To RSVP, call 312-655-7932. That's 312-655-7932, or visit AfterSupperVisions.com. At After Supper Visions, we're developing film, talent, and hope.
The Word Made Clear is exactly what its name implies. It's an easy-to-understand explanation of the Word of God, the Gospel. Hello, I'm Father James McElhone, Director of Biblical Formation for the Archdiocese of Chicago. I'd like to invite you to take our free online Bible study program by going to thewordmadeclear.org. Our website offers an audio-based guide to the Gospels of Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. Listen to my lectures and follow along with the handouts provided. There are even discussion guides. You can also explore the biblical roots of the Mass. And there are links to a wide variety of biblical sources that will benefit both teachers and students of the sacred scriptures. Just go to wordmadeclear.org to experience our free online Bible study program. Again, it's free at wordmadeclear.org. It's the Word of God. Enjoy.
And welcome back to the Voice of Charity. I'm Katie Bredemann here with Father Wayne Watts and Noreen Russo, and we're talking about the After Supper Visions virtual program this Friday, June 4th at 5 o'clock p.m. on YouTube/CatholicChicago. We're so excited to have this day finally here. Father Wayne, over the years you've discovered that other cities like Paris and New York have started programs similar to After Supper Visions. Why do you think After Supper Visions has thrived in Chicago for almost 20 years?
Well, I say, as I say about just about everything in life, it's all about relationships. And I think we've survived and thrived because of the relationships we've built among the artists, between the artist and the volunteer, between the artist and the donor, and between the program and the generous sponsors of the program. You know, for example, we have the Illinois Arts Council. They heard about our program, and they have sponsored it. They've given us a generous grant each year. Amazing, and they help us. So the relationships between the artist and the volunteers, to see these folks who are homeless or near homeless, hungry folks who come to us for dinner, meeting and talking about beauty with the amazing volunteers. That relationship is so important. The relationships among the artists, they come together and they have this even plane of talking about beauty and giving each other tips on lighting and different things that would be great for taking pictures of. Just to see all these relationships bursting and budding and growing, I think. So to answer your question, sorry it took so long, Katie, but I really think it's about relationships, and where we meet each person and treat each person with a great deal of dignity, because everyone deserves dignity and everyone has a gift to offer.
Beautifully put, Father Wayne. I've had the blessing of just assisting with some of the website content, over the last 10 years. And from just interviewing a few of the artists, I've had the blessing of becoming friends with a number of them. And Noreen, I know you've been so much more closely involved than I. Before the break, we were talking about that, and then, Father Wayne expanded on that. The whole idea that, this isn't just a service, but it's also a whole idea of building friendships. And we've been through many life-changing moments, right, with some of these artists. Can you speak a little bit about that, Noreen?
Yeah, Katie and Father Wayne, thanks for that great explanation of the relationships we've built. And we continued through the pandemic because of some of our amazing volunteers who still made it down to 721 to meet with the artists outside, masks on, to continue those relationships even though we might not have been able to go into the building and sit down for a hot meal or work on our computers like we typically do in a normal year. But we continued those relationships because that's what's so important for the program and the community that we've built, and the way that they build confidence with the relationships and are able to go out and take beautiful pictures.
And everyone's been so surprised at how many of the artists have continued to come to 721 North LaSalle on Tuesday afternoons, correct, Noreen? Like during the pandemic, all of our lives were changed so significantly, but the artists, all of the challenges of COVID impacted them even more. Am I right that it's been a surprise at how many of them, no matter what, have still come to 721 on Tuesdays?
Yeah, they have, and I think that's a testament to the relationships we've built over the 19 years and the community and the love that they feel going to Catholic Charities.
And Father Wayne,
it's really amazing. If I could just jump
please,
in,
please do.
Noreen and Jody O'Connor. Jody's been super generous with her time, but Noreen and Jody are down there almost every Tuesday to meet with the folks. And as I mentioned about relationships, there's a group text among about 10 core volunteers for the After Supper Visions. And Jody and Noreen send pictures of the guests as they're doing their work and as they're sending greetings to the rest of the volunteer team. It's just really something to see. Almost every Tuesday we have a greeting from one of the artists. It's really great.
And Father Wayne, corporate leaders in Chicago are increasingly participating, aren't they? Buying After Supper Visions prints for their office decor?
It's really interesting. Maybe about 5 years ago we started into that, and maybe somebody came to the June show and said, wow, these are spectacular photographs of our city. I wonder if we could use them for our office. And so, we've worked with a couple different corporations where they have done exactly that. Is they enlarged the photos and put them on the walls. And then very recently, one of our guests is an alum of and kind of a current outpatient of Shirley Ryan Ability Lab. And I was speaking to somebody at the Shirley Ryan Ability Lab about this particular individual, Mike, who is a spectacular photographer. In his first year in the show, probably 15 years ago, in his first year of the show, Mike sold maybe $2,500 worth of photographs. And he used the money to buy a camera and a lens, and he continued to improve his work. And now Mike is quadriplegic, believe it or not. And so he's taken really beautiful images and has been in the show for a number of years. And because he was an alum, perhaps because it showed that people with disabilities still have abilities, the Ability Lab commissioned him and has a number of his works, maybe a dozen or so of his works in the actual rehab hospital itself. It's pretty great, and Mike was over the moon with excitement being commissioned for something like that.
And Mike is also, as I know, incredibly generous with his time in assisting some of the other artists. So maybe we'll just take a break and then follow up with that after our break. Please stay tuned to The Voice of Charity.
Great. Thanks.
This is the checkers game where grandson and granddad will bond.
Hello, I'm Cardinal Blaise Supich. I got my COVID-19 vaccination, and you should too. It took just a few seconds and was painless. The Food and Drug Administration determined the new vaccines are safe and effective, and the Holy See, as well as the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, has concluded getting the COVID-19 vaccine is an act of love of our neighbor and part of our moral responsibility for the common good. We have lived with the pandemic for many months, and I know we're all getting tired of it. Vaccination is one of the most important ways you can protect your health and the lives of those you love and help bring the pandemic under control. When it is your turn, I urge you to be vaccinated. And remember to do your part by wearing a mask, washing your hands, and watching your distance. Thank you. and God bless you all.
Caring adults make all the difference in the lives of adolescents. Catholic Charities understands this, and our mentorship program provides a free opportunity for youth living in Lake County to spend time, virtually, with volunteers who genuinely care about them. This program is ideal for youths age 9 to 12 who may need support navigating the challenges of childhood and early adolescence. Our amazing volunteers serve as friends and role models who help youth recognize their strengths and empower them to reach their full potential. Catholic Charities conducts a thorough background check on every volunteer, and our program coordinator closely monitors and supports each relationship. Mentoring is a fun after-school program that is totally different from remote learning. Virtual group sessions help youth enjoy fun activities with their peers, too. We're connecting youth with great role models. Join us today. To learn more, call 312-937-3375. That's 312-937-3375.
Welcome back to the Voice of Charity. I'm Katie Bredemann, along with Father Wayne Watts and Noreen Russo, and we're talking about the 2021 After Supper Visions virtual program this Friday, June the 4th at 5 o'clock in the late afternoon. And it's going to be a terrific online celebration. Please share it with all your family and friends. They'll be able to find the show on YouTube/CatholicChicago, and we'll also give some contact information at the end of our program as well, that you could send and get an email link to it as well. Either way, it will work this Friday. Noreen, following up on our discussion before the break, we were talking about Mike and one of the artists and what an inspiration he has been in the way he has mentored other artists who have started in the program. You know, can you talk a little bit about that and how he has been really outstanding and build camaraderie amongst the artists?
Sure, yeah. So every Tuesday we meet with the artists and work on their photos so they can edit their photos on the computers and work with each other to select which photos they want to be in the show. And they just basically kind of gather together with the volunteers to work on their photography. And Mike has been inspiring to some of the other artists, and he's been helpful in working with them and helping them select what photos they might want in the show, and teaching them, you know, how they might take a picture at a different angle. But yeah, he's just been an amazing teacher and friend to the other artists. So.
And Father Wayne, I know you've been quoted as saying, you know, in a bigger, larger scheme of things, you've been quoted as saying the work of Catholic Charities is among the most important things we do as Catholics. So supporting After Supper Visions is part of that. Can you explain a little further what you mean?
I think back, Katie and Noreen, to what Cardinal George said once, and it sticks to me always. I come back to it. He said, as only Cardinal George could say, he said, "We all go to heaven on the backs of the poor." Jesus said they're going to get there first. And it's a way to remind us that those people who are fiscally poor are rich in so many other ways. And walking with them and being with them is really following the example of Jesus, who went to the fringes, who took care of the forgotten, who fed those who were hungry, who forgave sinners, who met people where they were and accompanied them and walked with them. that's what we do at Catholic Charities. That's what we've done for years and years and years. So for 100 years, we've been walking with those God entrusts to our care.
And
it's
so,
part of the Christian life. It's living fully the corporal works of mercy. And really, the After Supper Visions run so well by Noreen and Ellen and Jody and their team. After Supper Visions goes beyond that, because it builds a relationship of love and trust like no other. I remember one of the first photo shows. I think Noreen might have still been in high school, for crying out loud. But one of the first photo shows we had, one of the most wealthy people I know was looking at a black and white photograph done by a lady that I know lives under the L. These two were having this intense conversation about her photograph. And I said, this is what heaven is like. No walls, no boundaries. It's really, really something. It's hard to describe. It's so beautiful. And it's really important work.
And so, Noreen, I guess this is a challenge this year, not being able to meet in person, because those relationships are so wonderfully built when we're doing it in St. Vincent Hall. But what are your hopes for this online version of the photo exhibition this Friday night?
Our hopes are that people get a little taste of what After Supper Visions is, and that they support us in our mission, so that as we go forward and the pandemic seems to be winding down, and we do go back to in-person with our artists, that we can continue the successful program. We need, help with funding, so we want people to come Friday night and see the great work of the artists and the team.
And can I ask you briefly each to share what your favorite part of being in the program is? Father Wayne?
Sure. I was going to let Noreen go first, but my favorite part is the relationships.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Very powerful.
The relationships.
And Noreen?
Yeah, I would just not to copy Father Wayne, but yes, the relationships and the people we've met, and the beautiful photos that have been produced. It's an amazing program, and I'm grateful to be a part.
I would echo that over the years, people who naturally tour many art galleries in Chicago say the After Supper Visions photos are among the best they've ever seen in the Windy City. So we invite and encourage everybody to come and tune in this Friday, June 4th at 5 p.m. You can visit AfterSupperVisions.com for details and email Noreen to get your link to the show. Noreen's email is nrusso, R-U-S-S-O, at CatholicCharities.net. Or you can call Noreen at 312-655-7932. That's 312-655-7932. And our friends here at the Archdiocese of Chicago are producing the After Supper Vision show, and we're tremendously grateful for our partnership with them. So we want to give a shout out to Vince Girasoli, Brian Brock, Mike May, and Javier Garcia, and say thank you so much for all your work on this event. I'd also like to thank Father Wayne and Noreen for being on the show today. And on behalf of everyone at Catholic Charities, I wish you a very safe, happy, and healthy week. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Thank
Good
you,
to be
Katie.
with both of you,
Thank
Noreen
you.
and Katie.
Thanks, Father Wayne. Thanks, Noreen.
Have a great day, everybody.